Field, the site where we will soon bring to a close an amazing career of a stellar soldier, Thomas Hahn. It's very fitting that we do this here. The retired special soldier overlooking our nation's capital, here on Whipple Field, in Fort Myer, an historic place in our historic capital region. And I want to say welcome to our distinguished guest today, Honorable Patrick Murphy. Sir, it's so good to see you from the great state of Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Okay, come on, no beer for you. You didn't cheer for that one. All right, and Pennsylvania Congressman, Undersecretary of the Army, perhaps most importantly, Army veteran, Army combat veteran. Sir, thank you for coming. Thank you for your service. Our nation and our Army are better because of you. Lieutenant General retired Dave Halverson is here. He is the Jedi Master of all things artillery. Remember that tonight because we've got something to discuss with you on Tom's future. So, but General Halverson, he's held some of the toughest jobs in our Army, and each time he made life better for soldiers and families. And I know no one who cares more about soldiers and families than General Halverson. So, sir, thank you for being here. I see Deb Catolich here as well, so she's got a really cool job. We can't tell you anything about it because you're not authorized to know, but maybe you can ask her later what she does. I'll just tell you this, it's really hard, it is really important. John Rafferty's here, our new Chief of Public Affairs. Ooh. Thanks for coming. Tracy, thank you for coming. So this is like an artillery reunion here today, so it's great. But Tom, let's also join many friends and family who we just got to meet a little while ago, but we've known Chris for a while. Tom's wonderful wife. They met in Colorado when Tom was assigned there. These two are a wonderful team. And as Tom is a great soldier, Chris is a great partner and an awesome dental hygienist, including the time she worked in Germany at the Baumholder Clinic while they were stationed there. But she also holds the title of coolest mom ever. So, but Chris, if you know Chris, she's fun to be around. She's warm, she's friendly. She's always arrives before Tom, always ready to go. We didn't know if she was going to come over tonight. She had other plans back in quarters too, but thanks for joining us. Tom was excited that you were going to come after all. But we can see why she's sharing that title, but I also know that she deserves others. Military spouses are special, and Chris, you are indeed special. I need to tell no one that Tom told us that you don't need an award. You don't need recognition for your service and for our military. He said, literally, he said this is all she needs. Pointing at himself, not me. This is all she needs. And I'm like, okay, Tom, we realize, and we still recognize that you are a prize of some sort, I guess, but Chris still has a twinkle in her eye for you, but we simply could not agree with you on this one. And I often don't disagree with Tom Hahn. She is special and deserves far more than you or any of us can give you. But Chris, thank you for your service, and thank you for letting us recognize you today. Next month, the Hahns will be married for 25 years. And Chris, 25 years with Tom, you need a big medal for this one too, so thank you, and congratulations on 25. His son Ethan is here, grew up in the Army, has his new hat sporting today. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought he stole my Stetson from the room in the house, but that looks pretty cool. He grew up in the Army. He's probably a future soldier.
Might be.
Yeah, okay. We're going to commit. We got some papers tonight. Back tonight. Heading off to an internship with Virginia State Parks this summer with the Youth Conservation Corps. So it's going to be there for quite some time. So Good luck. That's honorable work. Thanks for doing that. Ethan is incredibly intelligent. I think if he's not, soldier gig doesn't work out, he's going to be a professor at Harvard, I believe. One of his hobbies is hanging out with old generals and talking history. And I usually do all the listening. So thanks. I look forward to another conversation after this ceremony. Uncle Hollis is here, retired Navy captain, submariner. He and Jeanette traveling from South Georgia to be here today, right? And they always go where the Hahns are and where Tom is celebrating another milestone in his great career. Thank you for doing it. You've been a great mentor to Tom. They even came up to Fort Drum in December when only friends of Fort Drum come is in the wintertime. Clearly, you feel greatly for your nephew, Tom, because it was pretty cold, a lot of snow, And Jeanette didn't even have a winter coat, so we had to take care of some things. But thanks, anyone who comes to drum in December is a lifelong friend of anyone who served in the Mountain Division. So thanks for being here today. And you just know it means a lot to Tom that you're here, because you meant so much to him throughout his life and throughout his military career. Brother Michael's here. Looks and sounds and talks just like Tom, his brother. Always the life of the party. Former soldier, served in Italy, Fort Bragg, Panama, all over the place. He's probably another one of these guys, can't tell you everything you did in the Army, but you can tell he's the thing that brings his family together. He's probably the life of the party, but thanks for being here, Mike. It's really nice to meet you. Sergeant Major retired Clyde Brown is here. I just met him earlier. I'm not sure if he's sitting all back there. Sergeant Major, thanks for being here. He was the first sergeant when Tom was battery commander. Thank you. I'm sure. You know, every reason any of us get promoted, so we have good NCOs around us. But that was in Germany, 427 FA in 2000. They've been friends ever since. Came all the way from Colorado here. He always kept it in the road, is what Tom would tell us. So thanks for being here. Tom did his best to keep up with you on all the strength exercises. And taking a look at you, I know he didn't keep up with you, so thanks for keeping them going. They deployed to Kosovo together. Tom would slow it down on runs, because the first sergeant would tell him to remember everybody else that doesn't run like a deer, Tom. So a lot of us had to get that education. But thank you for being here. Thank you for the large role you played in developing this stellar person and this great officer. And thank you for the many leaders and officers across our Army you helped develop. You've influenced many over your distinguished career, Sergeant Major. Thank you. Steve and Debbie Zuckerman are here. All right. AWOL. They're walking?
They're here somewhere. Right. I don't know where they are.
Okay, they're walking. We'll tell us some stories about them. They'll be here and they'll be nice and refreshed, I'm sure. But anyway, thanks everyone for coming. This is a really special moment for the Hans, but also for our Army. So as we look here, as you sit here and look upon our nation's capital, it's easy to see why during the Civil War, this high ground had to be defended. Mm-hmm. And immediately we built forts all around Washington, D.C. to defend it. And this field, named Whipple Field, was named after Major General Emil Whipple. As a young man in Massachusetts, he was a school teacher when denied admission to West Point. He later was commissioned later, graduated from West Point, and he led many historic surveying expeditions in our northeast of our country, but also surveyed the border between California and Mexico. And at the beginning of our Civil War, he helped defend Washington, and he helped to defend it from a fort in this very location we are today. He later fought in Fredericksburg and then was mortally wounded in Chancellorsville. And just as he fought to defend our capital, Tom Hahn has served this nation during time of war and preserved our freedom in doing so. He's an expert in his military branch, artillery, but he is so much more. Tom has a unique leadership style. He is able to take on the most difficult, complex problems and do it with style and grace. He is a kind warrior, but make no mistake, he is a real warrior. He has served all over the world: Korea, Kosovo, Germany, Afghanistan, and Iraq. He has served in difficult positions of high responsibility and succeeded everywhere he served. He served in the 2nd Infantry Division, the 3rd Infantry Division, the 4th Infantry Division, 2nd Stryker Cavalry Regiment, and finally he made the all-star team of the 10th Mountain Division, the very best division in the United States Army. That is a fact, it's in the museum. He also served at the strategic level as the executive officer for the Undersecretary of the Army, not an easy job, and as the deputy commander for one of the Army's new strategic initiatives, the Security Forces Assistance Command. It was a complex and very difficult job. He served in some of the most dangerous places in the world. These past 30 years were not easy, but Tom embraced every challenge, leading soldiers and defending our liberty. I watched Tom in combat and watched him tackle the most serious challenges and lead a joint coalition targeting efforts that was the best I'd ever seen. He demands high standards and often perfection, but does so with the teacher's touch.
I know that well.
And he does everything he asks others to do. Tom Hahn leads through the power of presence. During our division warfighter, which is a grueling simulated exercise designed to destroy your division and all the friendly forces along with it, winning is not likely. But Tom Hahn didn't get that memo. Tom was the mastermind of standing up and training the new Joint Air-Ground Integration Center for the 10th Mountain Division. The concept was simple, but the application was anything but. Tom was a real force, never compromising standards. He brought us all to his level. Those who graded our exercise and observed us could only find one fault with Tom Hahn. In comparison, they found about 50 with me. They found about 10 with Pat Flom. But for Tom, they only found one. And they told this to me about every day. He's working too hard. When does he ever rest? Never stopping. He was a real inspiration to all of us. And that is a true story. That's what the OCs had to say about you. If that's the only thing they could say, that means you're excellent. I can't tell you what they said about me. But his efforts were extraordinary, and I kept thinking, really, when does this guy stop? There seemed to be no end. He's full of passion for his profession and endless energy to lead by developing and teaching, not demanding. I was more proud of Tom's leadership than I was of our division's performance. I knew what Tom did would help the Army embrace this JAGIC concept, and it has. Tom, you're an exceptional soldier and leader. But those who know you also know you're funny. Always with a story to tell, and he has some good ones. Some we won't be able to tell here. But he kept us entertained in the office of the DAS here recently with stories about Beatrice, the queen bee of Tom's beehive. So Tom's endeavor into raising bees was quite a story and kept us all entertained. Another important task that Tom became successful in. Tom learned much and shared his stories with enthusiasm of a proud father. The bees were not always compliant, and Tom learned some tough and painful lessons. But thanks, Tom, for always caring and doing simple things that make life better for others, even if they sting a little. And he's a very good singer, for those of you who don't know it. And maybe perhaps later he will render his version of the rollout song that he'd love to sing. Tom is responsible for all Army rollouts, and he has a nice video that goes along with it too. So Tom, later on you can demonstrate, we're hoping. Tom would also comment about his timeliness and accuracy. General Halverson, this is what we need you to pay attention to, because he would always state in every meeting, he'd say, unlike artillery, I am on time and I'm on target. So I'm not really sure if he's allowed into the association when he retires with that statement. But those of us who called for fires know that that statement's a little true. So Tom, thanks for that one. But also Tom is a family man, and nothing makes him prouder than his son, Ethan. There were many assignments that separated you, Tom, from your family, but all of us who knew you knew where your heart always was. And you always found ways to be there when it mattered. So that's why your family is here with you today. You made it work despite all the challenges. Tom, you have served honorably in peace and in war. Your actions helped keep this nation free. Like Fort Whipple that defended our nation's capital during our Civil War, you have preserved our freedoms, so it is fitting that we recognize your distinguished career on this historic ground. Tom, thank you for being the person you are. You have inspired many throughout your career, and most of all, me. Thanks for teaching me targeting. Thank you for the dedication to service. Thank you for your endless energy you brought to many problems I threw your way. If no one knew how to solve a problem and I had no clue what to do with it, I always gave it to Tom Hahn, and you never pushed back. Thank you for your positive approach every day while dealing with difficult situations and often with difficult people. I was proud to serve with you and prouder still to call you my friend. Our Army is better because of Tom Hahn. And so many soldiers and families are better because of your service, Tom. You leave a strong legacy. You deserve all the happiness that is no doubt awaits you as you continue your climb to glory. But just remember, no matter what, keep moving, and we'll all meet at the top. Thank you.